When you're out with your guy and there's clouds in the sky, that's Moray. If that even makes it in the video, I'll shoot you. All right, Holliff, why don't you tell us where we're going today? Because you got this all arranged.
Yes, so at 10 o'clock we are on our way to the Plaza de San Francisco. And the plan today is just to have a private car. And we're going to go to 3 different sites, about an hour away drive from Cusco.
We're going to 2 places I really want to go to today. One is called Moray, which is a really weird kind of a Inca experimental farm. And the other place, which I've been really excited to go, is a place called Moras.
Yeah, Moras Salt is basically like an ancient salt mine town and looks like a terraces. You've probably seen it before. And then the third place that Michael didn't mention is Chinchero, which is basically a colonial town. In modern day, this is actually the place where you can learn more textiles.
And before we go on, I'm going to see if I turn the microphone on.
Yeah. Oh. And it's on, so that's a good footage.
We have made it to our first destination.
It's the town of Chinchero. It's kind of built on top of a hill. Little did I know.
Oh, he knew. He just didn't want to tell me.
So we actually parked way in the bottom of the hill and we had to climb up to the church, which is the main attraction here. It's really pretty so far.
Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, it's not too bad. The sun is not shining like you kind of want it to. But as you can see very clearly, the whole square is just a bunch of women all selling the exact same things.
Yeah.
And you said it was the birthplace of the rainbow. Cusco's departmental or regional flag is the rainbow flag.
The flag comes from like Inca legend that shows the diversity of the tribes. They believe that Chinchero is the center of it and then the birthplace of the idea of the rainbow, not the actual
right,
nominal,
of course, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's go take a look around and see what this place is about.
Yes.
This is actually a beautiful little town. It's believed that Inca Tupac Yupanqui, I think is how you pronounce it, used Chinchero as a sort of a country resort, and he made sure that there was like aqueducts and all this farming is around. It's like all done on these plateaus or terraces, so they're all still in use today, and Chinchero supposedly has some of the most fertile soil in the whole Sacred Valley, so the potatoes, fava beans, and all other root vegetables that they have here are supposedly some of the best tasting in Peru.
Definitely my newest favorite place in Peru. It must be really, really beautiful to just wake up and see this every day.
One of the things that you'll need to remember about coming to Chinchero is that if you want to go into the church, it's not included in your ticket. An extra 5 soles per person to go into the church.
It might be annoying actually to have to pay extra to go inside this church, but it is absolutely gorgeous inside. There's like really old paintings everywhere. Every single inch inside the church is painted of some sort. The wood, that's kind of the murals, absolutely gorgeous. And of course, they incorporated some of the local Inca design to it. I've never seen anything like that. So 5 soles, I think it's worth it.
So I don't know about you, Holliff, but the one thing that I always feel bad about is not buying anything.
Oh, Jesus.
That was almost a $3,000 camera gone. I always feel bad about not buying anything. I would have felt a whole lot worse if I fell down and broke a camera. But you know, if we bought even one small thing in every place that we were, we'd have to bring extra suitcases.
You know, they're really cheap 5 soles for like a hat.
If I was just coming here and I knew I was going home and I needed a sweater, I would buy one because they are really beautiful. Yeah. If you've got the money and you want to buy some of this stuff, it's amazing. It really is. But we just don't have room in our suitcases for all this kind of stuff. This is Moray. As you can see, it's just a big bunch of circles that get progressively smaller as they go down. It's a lot more interesting than it looks because, first of all, there's a 15 degrees Celsius, which is about 27 Fahrenheit, temperature difference from the bottom to the top, which basically represents sea level and then some of the higher Andean terraces. The second interesting thing about it, which I find fascinating, is that a lot of the soil at various levels comes from different areas of Peru. Peru. So not only did they build this place, they brought soil from all different areas of Peru to experiment on at different levels to make sure that the crops could grow. So this was more of an experimental farm. Potatoes, fava beans, that kind of thing were all experimented on here so that they could grow them in other areas of Peru and they know what worked. Because of people like the Incas, there are over 2,000 varieties of potatoes in Peru. I don't know if you've been to a grocery store in the United States, but for me, potatoes are red, yellow, and russet. That's pretty much what I know. One of the things that they've discovered about this place is that it never floods like a lot of the terraces around Peru. They don't know it for sure, but they think there's a system of underground drainage system that drains the water away.
So I was just holding on my camera filming Michael, and I was stood up here on the ledge, and then this guy, see how dangerous this is? This is just like poking me on the side. But seriously, it's just the whole hill is full with this thing, and you have to be very careful where you reach. So thankfully, what used to be a cloudy morning turned into a blue sky, even though it's a little bit windy. But my favorite part is the mountain behind me. You could actually see the snow-capped mountain with the glacier, and with the blue sky. It's just so pretty. This is a very narrow road. It's about maybe less than 3 foot, and then all the way down with all the cactus all the way down if you fall down.
You get pretty beat up.
Yes, but no handrail, strong wind, so you have to be very careful where you step.
Now that's what I call an amazing view. Look at that. One of the things about this place is it's not that big, but the roads you have to go to get even down a little bit, they go all the way out and then snake back around. And then they go down and they snake back around again. So it turns what could be a very short experience into a longer experience, which probably isn't such a bad thing. All right, we have made it to our final destination for today, the Maras Salinas, or the Salinas de Maras. The Maras, basically, it's a salt mine. And everything you see behind us here, all this white stuff here, that's all salt.
I think we mentioned it earlier that no matter where we go in Peru, there's always the market selling this Maras salt package. And this is where it comes from. And I believe, from what I understand, it's still a pretty active mine.
And what you need to understand is that when you tell your driver that you want to go to Maras and you mean the salt mines, you've got to clarify, because Maras is a town and the salt mines are about 20 minutes outside of Maras, and it's 50 soles extra. So we had an argument over that. But we think we have it fixed now. So
we're here. we made it.
This was the highlight of my trip. This is where I wanted to go. So I'm so glad that we're here. I wish it wasn't so windy because we could fly the drone then, but it's really windy here. All right, let's go down.
All right.
Okay, so behind me, you can see the Salinas de Maras, the Maras salt ponds. So I did a little bit of research on this, and what happens is there's a vast system of underground subterranean salt water that basically seeps up in sort of spring. You can see a little river of that salt water, and it flows all the way down and into each of these little ponds, which is actually owned by someone. And what happens is during the summer, it takes about 22 days for all of this to kind of evaporate in the sun. And when that happens, they come in and they scrape the top layer off, which is kind of a whitish salt. Then they scrape the second layer off, which is the pink salt that everyone wants to buy. And then below that is the kind of sludgy salt that they use in animal feed. There's a few people out there and they have big piles of salt. There's people straining salt. There's people taking it out. There's people kind of churning it up. There's a lady over here I see who's got a big pile. But yeah, it's really, really neat how they do it. And this is the kind of stuff that you see in markets all over Peru, and Peruvian salt all over the world. Who knows we all just know that that one little stream is full of salt and it's filling up all those holes.
That's why they picked this particular place,
Oh, yeah.
because that's where the spring water naturally emerge
Yep.
with salt content in it.
Soaking in salt.
I don't know the difference between the saltiness versus the other salt out there, but supposedly it gets some kind of a medicinal quality.
Yeah, the pink salt and the top salt has a lot of minerals in it. All right, well, that's it from the Maras Salinas, Salinas de Maras. All right, that is the end of our day today, and we are on our way home.
It's been a great day for our road trip to all these 3 important sites that we always wanted to go.
My favorite was the salt, but it made me crave for sweets. So on the way home, we stopped into Orion, which is a grocery store that we are going to show you in a future video, and got some sweets there. And now we're going to go catch the bus home. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button. If you want to subscribe to our channel and get updates whenever we post new videos, hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, a big alpaca is coming after you.
All right, good night from Cusco.
Make sure everything sounds on. What are you doing? Taking a shortcut. You're going to get us both killed.
Yeah.
We should tell you kind of how we're going to have to hold the camera.
It's a donkey here somewhere.
Yeah.
You see him?
And he's got something to say. Let's go interview the donkey.
Yes. So glad we did it. Such a good day and such a tight sidewalk.
And such a nice sidewalk.